What up, gang? Wayne, Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It's Monday afternoon. It's close to 4 o'clock now. I have been listening to 105.5 The Roar from the upstate of South Carolina here. I call it Tater Radio. It's the Clemson sports talk channel. They put a show on every afternoon from 3 to 7 called Road Rage. And the host on here, he's quite the character. But he's pretty educated about sports in general. And I was talking about the Jordan Travis injury to start the show off today, and how's that going to affect Florida State. And it feels like ultimately it's almost as if even if they finish 12-0 or 13-0, excuse me, they may still get left out of the playoff due to the human element of the Jordan Travis injury. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, their Florida State's game against North Alabama on Saturday, Jordan Travis, the quarterback for Florida State, basically his whole lower leg was broken. So his season's over. Just terrible. Career may be over. And he was the straw that stirred the drink. He was the main cog in the wheel that was that Florida State team. And they have a serviceable backup quarterback, but unfortunately, it may be tough for them to win these last two games without Jordan Travis. Now, Florida is also playing with a backup quarterback Saturday in their rivalry game in Gainesville. So that's going to be a tough situation for both teams. And then you've got the ACC championship game where Florida's going to face a Louisville team that I feel like they're clearly better than. But, what's going to happen there? Are they going to be able to still come out on top? Are they going to come out on top enough? And I feel like if they don't beat both these teams by a significant margin, they may end up get left out, because I don't know if the committee wants to avoid a situation like they had last year with the TCU deal. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think Florida State would have made it past the first round of the playoffs anyway. I just don't think they're good enough defensively to match up with somebody. Like if you took Florida State and Michigan on the same field right now and they played, who do you think is going to win? Just take the names off the jerseys. Who's going to win? Come on. Or Florida State and Georgia. It's kind of a no-brainer to me. And I'm not talking trash about Florida State. My team's scraping to try to get bowl eligible by fighting an uphill battle in a game that we're an underdog in on Saturday. But it's a sad situation. But the Tater guy here, Walt, the host of this show, kind of chaps my nerves a little bit too when he's saying that he thinks that the committee, the playoff committee, and ESPN, the four-letter network, which are two separate entities, that he feels like they're going to work together with this thing, and that they were even doing it before the injury to try to work something out to keep Florida State out of the playoffs and get Alabama in. If they win the SEC championship. So if they win the SEC championship over Georgia, they're getting into the playoff. And what he's actually saying is they're trying to figure out a way to if that happens, to get two SEC teams in. I don't get it. Why are all these talking heads? Why is everybody so childish, butthurt, and it's like they're just, I don't know, just jealous of Alabama, the SEC, and it's freaking football, dude. It's their job to put the four best teams in there this year, anyway. Next year, we're not going to have to worry about any of this anymore. It's the last year that you're going to have to whine, bitch, and complain about all this stuff. But I think that if Florida State wins their game against Florida and they win the ACC championship game against Louisville and they win it by margin, I think by 14 points or more, I don't think that there's a way that you can keep them out. And it's not necessarily feasible that that they can't win a playoff game. I mean, they could. I mean, it's highly unlikely, and I thought it was highly unlikely with even Jordan Travis playing. But it's feasible they could win a playoff game with a backup quarterback. This guy's, he stepped in. I think they were actually losing the game when he went down with that injury Saturday night. And they ended up winning 58-13. And yes, they were playing an FCS team and a tomato can. But that's besides the point. So anyway, I mean, what do y'all think about that? Do you think that the committee is going to look now for any way they can to keep Florida State out of the playoff, even if they go undefeated, due to the fact that their starting quarterback, who has been nothing but ultra impressive this year, is not going to be able to play the rest of the season? I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about that. All right. Also, I wanted to address something too. There was another caller that called in right at the end of this last segment. It's a Clemson fan, and was, pretty much, just talking about how bad that injury was. He felt really bad for Jordan Travis. I mean, the guy was going to quit football like 3 years ago. He was going to switch positions to safety. And then he worked and worked and worked and worked and got better, and ultimately led his team down this path to where they could compete for a national championship. So it's kind of sucks for him. Sucks is putting it very mildly, that his career would end this way. Absolutely awful. But this Clemson fan calls in. He's like, I was talking about how he really thought that injury was a bad thing. It was awful. But I'm going to tell you what. So we played them in September. Said, and that game was over. He said there was two of their backups, and they were waving bye to the Clemson fans after our walk-on kicker missed a field goal that could have tied the game up. They was waving bye to them. Well, I tell you what, the playoff committee's going to be waving bye to y'all too. And I don't mean nothing bad towards the good Florida State fans. Kids like that right there, that's just some crap. And I'm thinking to myself, just shut up. Oh my God, my ears were bleeding. Just shut up, you lily-livered redneck. Look, you people have had your day in the sun twice, winning national championships, been to the playoffs multiple other times. So what? Somebody else is going. Get over it. Get over it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the NC State players were waving goodbye when you lost to them. I'm pretty sure that the Duke fans of the Duke players were waving goodbye when you shut down both legs against them in game one. I'm pretty sure that the I'm drawing a blank here. Can't remember who. The Miami people. I'm sure after Kay Clubber decided to take business in his hand, I'm sure all three of the Miami fans that were there were waving goodbye to you, as well as their players. So who cares? It's football. It's a big boy sport. Grow up and put your big boy panties on if you're going to be a fan. I mean, kids are going to do that. They're like 19, dude. They're like 19 or 20. I mean, what do you expect them to do? Go out there and act like they're in the church choir? They're not. They're not. They're not. They were excited to win the ball game, and they deserved to be able to wave goodbye to your fans. Guess what? If you didn't want them doing that, then maybe you should talk to Dabo and talk him into winning the ball game somehow or another. But you didn't do it. So guess what? Cry about it. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Anything they do, I've got to take a dig at it, because I just think they're just inherently dumb for the most part. Some of them, a lot of them anyway. Not all of you, but some of you are. Anyway, tomorrow night, I believe it's going to be 8 p.m. Check out I don't know what he calls the channel now. I think it's Clemson Sports Talk or something along those lines. It used to be called the Not Bobby Durkins channel. This is Bobby Durkins, the Clemson character. His not Bobby Durkins, his persona, his Brian persona, the real him, who's actually a serious college football fan. And he does a really good show. I'm going to be on there with him tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And we're going to chop it up for a little bit and talk some Clemson versus South Carolina. That's coming up this Saturday afternoon in the Pearl that is located right in the middle of the oyster that is the state of South Carolina, which would be Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. So if you feel so inclined, watch that. He's going to do it as a live show, or live stream it tomorrow night, and then or you can go back and watch it, whatever. I think we'll have a good little session there. We're both pretty passionate fans, and we're both pretty opinionated, and he's pretty smart in terms of he's got a lot of football knowledge. We'll put it that way. Anyway, I'll see you guys later on. Appreciate it. Peace, and I'm out of here. And go Gamecocks. Woo!